the last time. I can feel that burning deep inside. Gonna give it all I am. Gotta feel that power in my hands. Beat of the drums rushing through my skin.
The London Lions are the league champions. Justin Robinson is the MVP. I'm the coach of the year. So we're right there at the top to be shot at.
They're loaded with talent.
They've got some bigger names, some guys that have played in the NBA. They're going to be that team that everybody's going to get up to play.
You know, those veterans, they know the game, they know what to expect.
If they stay healthy, they're going to be right there up in time.
Two of the favourites going head-to-head on the opening day of the league campaign.
I love this matchup.
Oh!
Newcastle haven't missed a shot, but for me, that comes down to defense.
Man, what is this?
London Lions are floundering.
London looking like a team that's going to live and die by the three tonight.
And that's probably it. Tremendous victory for the Newcastle Eagles.
The positive is, I believe we have 43 games left in the league, and we look forward to that.
And the first of those games is tonight. After their faltering start to the championship season, the all-star London Lions face another major test as the red-hot Plymouth Raiders head to town. Very good to have you with us. We are less than 30 minutes away from tip-off. Three British basketball legends alongside me. Kieran Atrara, Drew Lasker, Anthony Rowe. Very good evening to you all. Hey, Kieran, let's start with you as a 2012 Olympian. Being back here, that must feel good.
I absolutely love being back in London. You know, I was actually walking around the Olympic Village reminiscing, but it's a great place to play. You know, many fond memories here with GB. Really excited for the game tonight. It
was built for the Olympics, Drew. It is, of course, the Lions patch these days. This is very much a team with heady ambition, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The Copper Box is a great arena, and this is what the entire league aims to get to have venues like this. This is what's going to raise the prestige of the league. And you see for London being here for 7 years, they've been able to parlay that into a European competition, which ultimately is going to help get the respect of the league worldwide.
And we just saw as well from Vince McCauley, the team that everybody wants to take down right now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, they're the guys that everybody is shooting for.
Well, speaking of expectations and ambitions, Ant, Plymouth, fantastic start to the season for them. 2 out of 2 in the league, a great cup run as well. They've got high ambitions. The sky's the limit, right?
They have new ownership, new expectations, and they have an undefeated record at the moment. Yes, it's very early in the season, but I'd rather be 2-0 than 0-2.
Right, well, they are 2-2. Manchester as well, I'm reliably informed, never been top of the table before, so enjoy that, Giants fans. While you can. Leicester up and running as well. They beat the Scorchers, bottom of the table after back-to-back defeats. But as we heard from Coach McCauley just now, early days, plenty of time left and plenty of fixtures coming thick and fast. London and Plymouth back at it on Sunday. The Lions take on Cheshire, Plymouth hosting Glasgow tonight. 2 games other than ours, including Leicester. That's where we're heading next week, incidentally. The Riders-Flyers game, our live game here on Sky next Friday night. They're squaring off tonight, though, against our friend Mike Tuck and the Sheffield Sharks. So good start for Plymouth. How seriously should we be taking Manchester, Ant, do you think?
Well, there's only 3 undefeated teams in the league right now: Plymouth, Manchester, and Leicester Riders. So, you know, and after the BBL Cup, you know, expectations as well and the performances there, Manchester Giants are a very, very good outfit. They have, you know, big bodies inside. Breon Brady's had a great start to the season with Lyle Hexam supporting him there, and look, an ambitious Danny Byrne and an ambitious BBL coach.
Lot of games in close proximity as we saw there, Drew. How are you holding up personally with all that?
I mean, I'm holding up by spitting bubblegum at the moment. But like I talked about last week, the physiotherapist is going to be the most important player on every team's roster. And the schedule is about to get thick as the Eagles are about to hit 4 games in 7 days. And the Bristol Flyers, they're about to go on a stretch where they're going into 6 games in 12 days. So fatigue is going to be a factor this season.
Big time, deep rosters as well. Well, we saw the Lions last week, of course, and we got up close and personal with 2 of their big American imports. So we thought, seeing as we're back in the capital, let's take a look at some of their homegrown talent.
My name is Justin Robinson.
Joachim Wynn, London Lions captain.
Play for London Lions and I'm point guard.
Forward. Intense.
Laid back. Sporting hero, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson.
Muhammad Ali.
Life hero, Jimmy Rogers and my mum.
That's definitely got to be my dad.
I'm petty, very petty when I get upset, so.
Part-time control freak.
Probably just like ignore someone or sarcasm, stuff like that. Best personality trait, I'd say I'm compassionate.
I'm definitely super hardworking.
I care about people, love helping people, love seeing people do well. Biggest strength, I'd say just my IQ, leadership.
Leadership.
Experience, knowing how to control the pace of the game, trying to get my teammates involved, stuff like that. Letting stuff go, you know, like when something goes wrong or something goes bad, just learn how to just move on from that situation.
Ball handling?
Giving assists.
Getting buckets.
Proudest on-court moment, I'd say, is when we won the cup final.
Lifting the BBL league title. Probably losing to the London City Royals in the trophy finals. I hate those dudes.
Tough one. Maybe like shooting the air ball, like in general. The crowd saying, oh, air ball, so stuff like that.
My boy Geek Sensei, he's mad. He's got a mad account.
Probably 50 Cent. You know, he's petty, he's funny, he's always joking on people, stuff like that. I'd say I'd be like a social worker, maybe a life coach, just helping people, helping young people.
I'd probably be a YouTube sensation.
Are you already a YouTube sensation?
Yeah, I actually am. I was, plugged Cybernerds, check us out.
Above the rim.
White Man Can't Jump, love that movie. That bangs. LeBron all day.
Growing up, it was Jordan, but I think as I've got older, being someone that actually plays professional, I have to go with LeBron, like 17 years, 18 years in the league and still performing, still the best player in the league.
Not controversial, LeBron's better.
And who better to talk about those two than their coach? Evening, Vince. Two leaders on the court and off.
Yeah, I mean, that's the two heartbeats of London, and that's something that we've really been trying to focus on in the last 4 or 5 years to really give the character to the team. And it comes from the guys from East London in Joe, the guy from South London in Justin, and the history and legacy that they bring with them, Brixton Topcast, East London Royals.
Now, you've got a big old roster, which is always a good thing to have as a coach. It's got even bigger, of course, news in the last 24 hours. Jordan Spencer back.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. For us, it's important that the best British players play for us in London. In terms of what we want to achieve in Europe and what we want to try and do, we want to represent the best. The fact was, Jordan was, out of contract, injured. We were able to help him get better. He's been practicing with us. Obviously, he's a guy that we've known from 10 years old. It was only natural that he would come back home to us.
Vince, first of all, the rich keep getting richer with the addition of Jordan Spencer, but as I look at your roster and I see the bevy of guards, which are all competitors, by the way, how does you as a coach plan to keep everyone happy?
Well, it's an interesting conversation, and I think a lot of that depends on what happy means. Is happy only around game time, or is it around the collective group and the collective achievement? And what I've tried to instill to my guys is it's about the collective achievement. Because we could have a squad of 10, and we could play today, and we could travel to Chester on Sunday, and we can go to Plymouth on Wednesday, and play at home on Friday, Manchester Sunday, and they would all be injured. And then we've got to go to Europe on the 24th of January. So we need a squad of about, I've looked at all the teams in Europe, their squads are about 18, 19. And I think that's what you need to compete in Europe and be at the top of your own local domestic league. And hopefully the guys will buy into that.
You talk about being on top. Obviously, there was the scare last week. I want to know what your focus was with going into this week's practice.
Well, I mean, we were awful last week. I mean, Drew was right next to us on the floor, and he knew my thoughts while I was on the sideline. We were as poor as we've been all season last week. I don't think that was Lions basketball. We've looked at the game tape. We've broken things down. We've looked at players jogging down the floor when Cortez is making layups. We're looking at Maxwell and Gordon eating rebounds for lunch. Those are the kind of things that we said we weren't going to allow, and which we didn't allow when we won quite handsomely over there 2 weeks before. But obviously, they did their work. We didn't come out focused, ready to go. So we need to address that.
And Coach, Plymouth, a great start to the season defensively, particularly strong as well. So you're going to have a battle on your hands tonight.
Well, you know, Coach Paul James and I first met each other at 17 years old at a basketball camp, so I know exactly how tough this is going to be. Not only that, we talked about London earlier on. You got a sprinkling of London guys. We're in London, best venue in the country. You know, I expect a really, really tough game.
Good to be back home. Thanks for taking time to talk to us, Coach. Right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get a little bit closer with the Plymouth Raiders. Tipping off very soon. Plymouth, as we've been talking about, have been in great form so far this season. 7 out of 8 they've won in league and cup, and some big names on their roster too. Andrew Lawrence, of course, is a player well known to British basketball fans. Ashley Hamilton we'll look at in a bit more detail too, but they're getting contributions, Anne, throughout the roster, aren't they?
And let's start with their GB international Ashley Hamilton, who has been stellar for them so far this season, averaging 17 points a game, good energy on both ends of the floor as well. But let's not deny this bench. This bench has been very effective for them. Young Elliot Sentence came up, 10 points a game for him, and Denzo Ubiaro, probably one of the most improved players in the BBL this season.
So a team well and truly on the up. Time to get inside the Raiders locker room now. Let's find out a little bit more.
Let's be on the team. I have to go with Andrew Lawrence. Andrew Lawrence for sure.
It's Drew, Andrew Lawrence. I have to go with the OG Andrew. Before even becoming a professional, I'd always looked up to Andrew Lawrence, and I've had the privilege of playing with him.
It's a good question. We'll have to let the season speak for itself.
What, you got to answer that one? Probably say Mike.
Mike.
Big Mike.
Yeah, that's Big Mike.
Mike just plays so hard that sometimes he's just like a bull in the china shop.
He doesn't even know he's forgotten. LVC, because he talks so much.
LVC.
LVC for sure.
Probably LVC.
He's just a class clown.
That's his goal. Like he's, how am I going to be funny today?
There's only one locker room DJ, but it's LVC.
LVC's got some teams.
Oh man, LVC's gonna want me to say him. Oh me, I'm DJ, I'm the coach in the locker room, pre-game, post-game. They know not to even knock to connect to the Bluetooth.
He's passionate about him, so I let him go ahead with it.
Some of it's all right, some of it is trash. So.
I mean, he's my guy.
Worst music taste. Oh, I have to. My bad, Will.
Will Neighbour.
Will Neighbour for sure.
Yeah, he plays some dodgy tunes, I'm not gonna lie.
They would say that. Oh, I'm gonna expose them. I wake up every morning listening to like some French instrumentals, and I got a headache every morning when waking up with Will.
You play music every now and then, but...
Nah, they don't let me.
The best dance move, ooh. I think Chris.
Chris likes a good shuffle every now and again.
You know, Americans got a little bit of swag to him.
He's just high energy, always loves to dance. You know, Americans, they do it all in their eyes, so I'd definitely give it to Chris.
I need the show. Oh man, what's the it's a new dance, you know what I'm saying? It's back in America, you know, the hey. Yeah, that's a good one.
Coach's favorite, probably Ashley.
Ashley
Hamilton. I'd say Ash.
Ashley.
Without doubt.
Andrew. He's one of them teacher's pets guys, isn't it? Like, you know, like it's gonna bring Coach Apple in the morning and stuff like that.
Biggest trash talker, yeah, Chris.
Probably Chris.
Chris for sure. Chris.
You'll talk. You'll definitely talk.
Oh, it's all baby stuff, but he does like to talk.
Chris can get into it when he really wants to.
Everybody says I am, but I really don't understand. I don't say anything until somebody says something to me, so don't be so sensitive.
Worst loser, yeah, Andrew Lawrence, yeah.
Andrew Lawrence.
Yeah, he doesn't like losing, and he'll tell us about it if his team loses in the scrimmage.
I don't think Andrew would allow practice to finish until he's at least won a game, or start his own game, even though practice is done, just so he can get a win and feel good about himself.
I'm probably the worst loser on the team.
What you like after a loss?
Absolutely horrible.
The Raiders in good form off the court as well, it seems, as well as on. And their head coach, Paul James, joins us now. PJ, what a start to the season. 7 out of 8. Coach of the Month award for you. It couldn't have gone much better, could it?
No, it really couldn't. We had a very short pre-season. Well, actually, no pre-season at all. We jumped straight into the cup competitions and used that as kind of a pre-season. But we've got a great bunch of guys here. We really worked hard on getting the right balance and the right chemistry of the team together. And yeah, so far so good.
Talk about some of the new signings, big names as well. Ashley Hamilton, Andrew Lawrence. I mean, there's real ambition with this club, isn't there?
There really is. We want to bring some maturity to the team, and actually we wanted to build a team for the future as well. So, hence investing really in our domestic players to build from, and I think we made a great start with that. Still yet to see Andrew on the floor, but I think once he's on the floor, we'll go to another level again.
Hey, firstly, Coach, congratulations on the Kevin Cato Coach of the Month award. But as you guys sit here at 7-1 and you got Lawrence returning pretty soon, how do you plan to integrate him in the team without really disrupting the momentum that you guys currently have?
Well, again, I think it's just, really make sure we're doing our homework with players and sort of talking to them at length about what I expect from them and what I want them to do. We have great team chemistry right now. Everybody's working very hard together, and I'm very nervous about disrupting that right now. So, I've got to do my homework and make sure I bring in the right guy.
Building on that chemistry, I've been really, really impressed, especially defensively this season. Has that been one of your main focuses as a squad?
Absolutely. I think if we were going to compete this year, you have to do it defensively, and we haven't clicked offensively yet, and it's been our defense that's been winning us games, and we take a lot of pride in that right now, so hopefully we can keep that going.
We talked about Andrew Lawrence not factoring so far, and Ashley Hamilton. These are big names, as we said, but so looking at your roster there is a lot of strength in depth. Talk through some of the players like LVC Dusha, who's really stepping up when he's being called upon.
Well, I've worked with LVC before, and I brought him in to be the backup point guard because I know he will, he'll run through walls for me, and he's had the opportunity now to start for me, and he must be feeling great because having won sort of 8 out of our first 9 games, he's done a great job for us. We've got Chris Porter-Bunton who's come in. He came in late, but again, we'd already done our homework on him. He's come in, he's done a great job with the team, and of course we've got Prince eBay in the middle, who's making people change a lot of shots, and that makes a huge difference for us.
What is the ambition for you this season? I mean, because it's easy to get carried away, of course, with a strong but very early start to the season. But realistically, do you see yourself as a title contender?
Well, I can probably tell you that after tonight's game, but
right.
But certainly, having beaten the likes of Newcastle, who you just don't beat every day. I think we did a good job there last week. We want to do a good job here this week. Yeah, and I think if we can get a game here tonight, I think we should go for the title. That's what we want to do. We want to try and win titles, and we want to do that for many years to come.
PJ been involved with the game over here for so long. It's fantastic for it to be back on Sky. Exciting times. All these new faces coming into the BBL for the league right now, isn't it?
Absolutely. At one stage there, we didn't know if the season was going to happen at all, and for it to be happening now and to be back on Sky is absolutely fantastic. And those were my heydays, so I'm really pleased you're back.
It's great to chat to you. Listen, you've got some business to do, so we'll let you get on with that. But thanks for taking time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Best luck, coach.
Well, there we go. The Plymouth Raiders are in fine form, but it's been 13 years, Drew, since they've landed any silverware. That could very well change this season, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think this might be the year for Plymouth. As you look up and down their roster, they're well balanced, and the biggest thing that I've been impressed about is they've been able to carry on winning without their best player on the floor. So that says a lot about those guys in the locker room there.
Ashley Hamilton as well, terrific players. We just heard from Coach fundamental to the team, Kieran. And if they are going to title contend, he is going to have a really, really strong year.
I've been so impressed with him, and especially like his three-point shot, the way he's planting his feet. You can see that he's clearly working on his game every single summer to be the best player he can be.
He's had a really interesting journey as well, because then he started playing basketball when he was 15, didn't he?
That's the British story. That's the story for most of us players. Late starters, quick learners, and just enjoy the game.
Talent is unquestionable, but with Hamilton, with Andrew Lawrence as well, is there enough strength in depth, do you think, Drew, to mount a title bid?
Yeah, that's my only question with Plymouth is that bench. But they proved it last week as they beat my Newcastle Eagles on a short bench and with a team that was rolling. So again, I look for Plymouth to be right there at the top this year.
It's not just a short bench. I saw 28 bench points you had against Newcastle Eagles. That's a phenomenal feat. That's players understanding their role, and that's why I think they will be a title contender.
Players, as you can see, being introduced coming onto the court. Drew, you played Plymouth last week. What were your main takeaways from the game?
I mean, the biggest thing was defensively. I mean, Prince eBay down there at the paint, every time our guards had the drive, you could see he was in the back of our mind and he was down there changing shots. But the biggest thing that stood out was it wasn't one guy that really stood out. They did it collectively, and that was the most impressive thing about the Plymouth Raiders.
And with PJ, of course, one of the most experienced coaches in the game, certainly the most experienced coach in the BBL. Involved in the game, Kieran, player and coach for 40 years and still going strong. How important is that?
He's just so composed, and he does it with a smile. Sometimes there are a couple of little frowns at the referees, but he just loves the game of basketball, and I think it rubs off on these players.
How important do you think his experience, the fact he's won everything, he's won every trophy going, how important was that in terms of selling the Raiders' dream to those big-name players that have come in?
They know that he knows how to win, and I think that's important for a lot of players. A coach that knows how to win, and I think that's one of his main selling points.
And welcome back. Speaking of the Newcastle-London game last week that we were talking about with Drew earlier, the Lions got sucked in, really, to playing the Eagles game, did they? The pace of that. And they got caught up in that. How will Plymouth set out their stall, do you think, against London tonight?
Well, that's a really interesting contrast, because with Plymouth, you've got a team that only allows 65 points a game, but London score at 82 points a game. So are we going to look for a high-scoring offensive game? If we do, I think it goes into London Lions' favour. But if there is a slower-down game, we're able to grind it out, I've got to give it to Plymouth Raiders, because defensively they have been that power this year.
So high tempo, low tempo, we're not quite sure. But speaking of tempo, you better get moving out, because we need you up in the commentary booth. We are very close to tip-off here at the Copper Box. Friday Night Basketball coming your way on Sky. Lions Raiders is next. Welcome back to the Copper Box. We're ready for game time. Anthony Rowe has made his way up to the commentary box in quick, fast time. He's calling this one alongside Dan Ratledge.
Yes, indeed he has, and his knees have survived the journey as well, while the London Lions coming out onto court and desperate to get their first win on the board in the league. Just as a matter of note, no team has ever won the league starting 0-2. Not the league, or even in the conference seasons. They've always won at least one of their first 2 games. So pressure almost on the London Lions as their starting 5 comes out on to the court. And let's have a look at the starting 5s. And, well, for the London Lions, it is the same 5 that we saw last week. And really, we probably want to see a bit more from Liggins this week than maybe we did last week.
Yeah, I think so. 7 points, very modest for him of his standards. So, yeah, look for him to have a big game as well. But Justin Robertson, he's a guy that they need to be firing on all cylinders. Not just scoring the basketball, but sharing the rock and getting everyone involved.
And let's have a look at the starting lineup for the Plymouth Raiders. And Elvisi Dusha doing a sterling job in the backcourt. I mean, as a backup point guard, he gives you everything you could possibly want. Great passer of the ball, always looking for his teammates.
Well, he's been labelled a backup point guard, but he is on one of the best teams in the league, and he's been doing a good job. Again, someone who doesn't need to score the basketball, but has been getting his teammates involved and adding to their defensive prowess.
Well, the teams are out and ready to go for the opening tip here at the Copper Box Arena. And it's a fascinating matchup between the prohibitive favourites in the British Basketball League and a team very much on the rise, the Plymouth Raiders. And we are underway, and it is the home team who get the first possession. And Dirk Williams straight away with the three-point shot off the mark.
Well, Dirk Williams has showed us his intent early on already. He's looked aggressive and shooting that 3 early.
Here's Hamilton. Working the pick and roll with eBay. Hamilton driving all the way to the basket, overcooks the shot. Liggins, back to Robinson. Williams trying to get free, does get free, gets all the way to the basket, throws it up high, shot very much changed. And that will not count, foul call first.
Well, it's a good sign from the London Lions offense early on. Yes, they didn't convert the play there, but as you can see, Dirk Williams attacking the rim, and then big Chris Tawier with the offensive rebound. Got the defenders to commit the foul.
And you can see what Prince Ewe brings to the team defensively. He didn't block that shot, but he certainly changed it.
For sure, and that's one of those stats as well that isn't recorded, you know, how many shots you can change, but boy is it an asset to have when your team has a 6'10" shot blocker who can change a lot of shots.
One shot.
First point of the game on the board for the home team. And they are both good. London showing a bit of full court pressure, going aggressively as well. Plymouth under pressure, get it across the line. Porter Bunton is open for 3. And London, good press, but they didn't recover back well enough.
And that started with Elvisi Dusha, and they got the ball across to Porter Bunton there, and he knocks it down.
Here's Williams from behind the arc. Long rebound comes out to Liggins. Parker driving, gets his own rebound, tosses it up again, but overcooked that one. Little step through, and that's batted away, but illegally so it'll be 2 shots, I think, the way the referee signaled that. Let's have another look. 2 of them come across the arm. I think it was Williams who got the initial swipe. Robinson was in there as well.
Robinson's looked clean to me, but it was Dirk Williams there reaching around. Too much contact deemed by the referee.
First foul of the game on Dirk Williams. Porter Bunton from the free throw line. makes them both. Liggins got the quick step, driving hard, tosses it up. That will not count. Foul on the floor. Vince McCauley was convinced that should be an and one, but let's see. He's beat him on the first step. Oh, bump while he's still dribbling, I guess. So that'll be a sideline possession. Robinson now from behind the arc, and some early three-point shots from the Lions, all off the mark. Neighbor from miles out off the mark. Uncharacteristically wide. Here's Liggins again from three-point range. Calrier with the offensive rebound, and he's going to get the foul there as it was poked away from him.
Well, neither team firing so far in this game, but Chris Tauia again active on those rebounds. Second offensive rebound for him. Gets his team, foul called against the Lions.
Well, you would normally say 4 offensive rebounds is a good return for the Lions, but the problem is they haven't made a shot. They're 0 of 7 from the floor. The 2 points have come from the free throw line. So, offensive rebounds, sometimes a misleading stat, because you've got to miss it in the first place. Shot clock low, his neighbor spins under pressure, gets his own rebound, kicks it back out. Moved on, nice little head fake and step under to the mid-range jump shot from Porter Bunton.
Great start to this game by Porter Bunton. All 7 points for him so far.
And he's done it from all distances, a 2, a 3, and a couple of foul shots. Offensive foul there on the pick and roll called against Parker.
Well, it's been a lot of whistles early in this game. This is the #1 team fouls committed in London on 23, and second Plymouth in 19, and we've seen early on in this game that the whistle has been active, shall we say.
Hamilton driving in, he just got a little nudge from Robinson, but actually lost the ball off his own leg, I think.
As we see, Hamilton trying to find a gap there in the defense, but it was good hands again by Justin Robinson that perhaps deflected off Hamilton's leg and goes out of bounds.
I think he might have even got a finger on it from that baseline replay. Here's Robinson. Parker strings the first field goal make of the game for the London Lions.
Very nice pick and pop there. Good mid-range game, easy knockdown.
Well, straight to the basket, nobody stops the ball, and Porter Bunton feeling it here in the early stages.
Well, he's hot, there he goes, all the way through like a steam train. Nice reverse finish.
Dusha with the steal, here comes the Raiders. A little shovel pass into eBay, but he overcooked that one.
Oh, the big man will want that one back. It's a nice little dump down there, and Prince Eva just couldn't finish.
Nice. Oh, I think he might have got a little piece of that. Oh, to what Tauia misses. Surely now Liggins for 2.
Well, Chris Tauia didn't get the reward on that occasion, missed the layup, but what he did do is keep the ball alive again, and Liggins was able to clean up the mess.
Well, first substitution of the game sees Dirk Williams sit down and Kevin Ware into the ball game. Hamilton. A lot of room for Neighbor, dangerous man to leave open, and that's exactly why.
Oh, that's what Will Neighbor does. Took his time, set his feet, and knocked it down.
Parker's shot rims out. Hamilton attacking hard, takes the contact, he'll shoot 2.
Well, Hamilton's done a really good job there of changing speed and changing his direction. Again, he's looking to go to that left hand, and bump there from Chris Tauia. Too much contact there for the referee. And Hamilton will get an opportunity to score 2 from the free throw line.
Well, as Tawia sits down, Ali Hodzic into the game for the first time. Been struggling with injury so far this season. Missed a few games, but he's back in the lineup now and out on court.
Well, he's someone with a high pedigree, played across Europe, good basketball career in the United States as well in college.
Raiders get another go at the offense here and make London pay for giving up that offensive rebound. Reverse three-point play from Hamilton. Here's Webb into the mid-range. Little short on that one. London Lions really struggling from the floor so far. eBay throwing it a little too far in front of Will Neighbor.
If you're a Plymouth Raiders camp there, you'd want that switched. You want Will Neighbor looking for that high-low dump down to Prince eBay, but on that occasion, didn't quite work out for the Raiders offense.
You can see the shooting numbers for the Lions really poor here in the early stages, but that's one way to raise your shooting percentages. Get yourself to the basket like that.
London Lions have to find a way to get to that basketball rim because at the moment their shooting is not going to get them back in this ball game.
There's Ojarobia in close, and that is where he likes to work.
Good, powerful move there and patient shot from Ojarobia.
The back door is touched low, and it came off where last and out of bounds. And to cap their poor shooting, that is their 4th turnover of the game.
Well, not a positive start for the London Lions at the moment, but still very early in this basketball game.
Well, the Raiders have just about broken the press on a number of occasions, but they've usually got a good shot at the end of it, like that one from Ubiario, which doesn't go as it leaves it short. Robinson looking for a foul, it's not coming his way. Well, Vince is getting more and more irate. Oh, Hamilton strokes the three, just came down court, nobody picked him up. And he said, take that. Plymouth off to a flying start.
Well, the issue London Lions had there, they were too busy worrying about the referee's no call. And Ashley Hamilton just found himself open at the top of the perimeter, knockdown three.
Well, we've seen Hamilton do this before against the Lions in the trophy final a couple of years ago. He was the MVP. Him and NBA were tremendous in that final. He loves to take on these London Lions.
He does. He loves that London rivalry being from here himself. But first and foremost, he's a competitor, and he has been that talisman for this Plymouth Raiders team so far this year. And we expect nothing else from an all-star performance from him.
And Porter Bunton starting out super hot. He's made every shot he's taken. He's got 9 points, and that is some tremendous offense from him so far.
I think the most encouraging thing about that as well is what you said, Dan. It's come in an array of different forms. It's been a three-point shot. It's been a mid-range pull-up. It's been a reverse layup to the basket as well. So he's someone that can hurt you in a number of ways, and he's immaculate from the floor, 100% so far. I'm sure the Raiders will want him to continue that.
Well, as Nat said at the beginning of the show, a busy weekend in the British Basketball League. There's one game already underway at Worcester, where the Wolves lead the Manchester Giants 43-39 at the half, thanks to 21 first half points from Martin Boutnick. Here at the Copper Box, they're making their way back out onto court, and of course they will start at the Morningside Arena, Leicester against Sheffield, in about 13 minutes time. Well, there's obviously a technical in all of that. I think it was on Vince McCauley, because there's a free throw coming out of the timeout, which Hamilton says thank you very much.
Well, this is what we've seen already early in the season, is that mental discipline and ability to turn adversity around. And at the moment, London Lions are in a corner. Is it fight or flight?
Nice pass. And a good layup at the basket from Parker.
Very positive response from the London Lions. A well-timed play, and Ali Hodzic with a good pass to the cutting Parker.
Well, fundamentally very sound, Ali Hodzic. Sets a good screen, knows how to find his teammates from that low block. Dusha underneath, out to Porter Bunton, who continues to hit everything he puts up. He's up to 12.
Chris Porter Bunton likes playing on Sky Sports. Incredible start for him to this game.
Liggins driving in, throws it up short. And, well, nothing going for the London Lions here. They are a combined 4 of 17 from the floor. They've missed all 4 three-point attempts, and they've made 4 of 13 from inside the arc. Hamilton backing down to the hook. Robia getting the offensive rebound, driving in, loses it. Hamilton on the floor, I think he kicked it. Yes, he did, said the referee.
It was a good offensive rebound there from Archer Riobia, but Ali Hodzic was just a stronger defender there and got Archer Riobia to deflect and turn that ball over.
I think it was you at the top of the show who's talking about the difference in terms of points against and points for. You wouldn't know anything about it here with Plymouth 24. Ali Hodzic misses the jam, challenged at the rim and unable to finish.
Wow, brave challenge by Ashley Hamilton. And this Plymouth Raiders team is a team that want to be renowned as the best defensive team in the league, and that's a perfect example of why.
Well, Dusha sitting down as Sentence comes into the action for the first time. And Parker with a nice little mid-range jumper.
Could be really good for this London Lions offense. You know, they've got the three-point shooters and they've got the bigs inside, but Orlando Parker's that in-between guy that can hit that mid-range jump shot.
Sentence driving in, loses it off his leg. Moved to Plymouth over the summer, having done really well with the Solent Kestrels in D1. Wow, taking it to the basket and laying it in.
Well, that's a way to do it. If you're not shooting the ball particularly well from outside, you've got to find ways and gaps to get to the rim, and Kevin Ware did on that occasion.
And another turnover, and I looked to the bench just wondering, this is where you need somebody like Dusha on the court just to calm it. He's very comfortable under pressure just to calm it down a little bit. And obviously Lawrence would be the other guy, but he's still in his tracksuit, yet to play a game this season. But this extra pressure, and London can turn it up, will cause any team problems.
Well, we've seen it, haven't we? Even in the loss last week against the Newcastle Eagles, you pointed this out, Dan. You know, when London Lions turn it on for a 4 or 5 minute period, they can devastate opposition, and this is what we're seeing here now. We're seeing a slight turn in this game, but I think it's absolutely essential that Plymouth Raiders, incorporate LVC Dusha back into this game just to steady the ship.
Well, a sensible timeout here by Paul James. The lead is still 10 points. He'd be delighted about being up 10 points, but he's just felt that momentum shift and just trying to settle things down a little bit.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy that, at the moment, London Lions have only scored 14 points, and with the offensive power they have on their team, he's got to be, very, very happy with that. But again, it's a period at this time now. You don't want the momentum to swing. You want to keep control of this first quarter.
Well, Nat was talking at the top about how long Paul James has been in the game. I actually have a photo of PJ as a player, young player. It was so long ago there wasn't even a three-point line on the court.
Wow.
That's how long ago it was. I think it was about 1982, 1983. He was in his first or second season in the league, but there was no three-point line. That's how long ago Paul has been involved in the game.
I've got to put you on the spot here, Dan. What year was that introduced into the game?
Three-point line, I think it was 84. 84. My memory serves. It was a gimmick, though. It'd never last. Here's Kevin Ware driving hard to the hole and finishing once again at the basket.
Kevin Ware, a guy that had a very disappointing opening season opener last weekend, so he'll be on to right some of those wrongs tonight.
Robia trying to go along the baseline, and Ali Hodzic called for the foul.
Positive sign though for Faro Alihodzic, who's been injured. He's came in and positively impacted this game for the London Lions, and he's been on court as well while this run is going on, which is always something that you want those units. I think when you coach McCauley, you're looking for particular players to play at certain times, and you certainly want to know which players are on court when you're making these runs to get back into a basketball game.
I think it was Justin Robinson just got a technical warning there. He signaled to the coach that he didn't want any more from his team, and I think he pointed to Robinson. It could have been in general because there were three of them stood next to each other. Liggins out to Ware in the corner. And still the three ball eludes them, but Hodzic with the offensive rebound can't convert. Neighbor. Rather flat looking shot there. Here's Ware again. And the foul is called as Ubiaro chased it back.
A unique decision there to shoot the basketball, Will Neighbour off balance, but London Lions are doing a really good job of getting possession of that basketball and running the other way. And as you see, Kevin Ware pushing the ball again down the other end of the floor.
Well, he certainly made a big impact off the bench here, Ware, and he was throwing the pass to Tari, who was going for the rebound. Dusha, that's what he does so well, that pick and roll, lovely drop pass right to the big man where he wants it.
Such good work there from LBC Dusha, dragging the defenders over as much as he can, and that pitch-perfect pass to Mike Ocherobia for the easy layup.
The last few seconds here of the first quarter. Liggins running it down to the step back. It's a long two, he got fouled on it, so he will go to the free throw line to shoot two, with no time left in the opening quarter.
Wow, that's an incredibly frustrating call if you're Paul James or Plymouth Raiders fan. Liggins had absolutely nowhere to go, and as you can see, Will Neighbour just too much contact on the arm there in the act of shooting. So DeAndre Liggins will have an opportunity to cut this deficit.
Well, it's interesting. We talk loads about London and what they are and what they have and the array of talent, but Vince spent a lot of time in the summer talking about defense and how he wanted to be the strongest defensive team in the league and how they wanted to play at European level for that defense, and they've given up 27 points. He'll be livid about that.
Yes, I think if you have ambitions to play, to be one of the best defensive teams in the league, you cannot, under any circumstances, concede 27 points in one quarter.
Well, that will do it for the opening quarter here at the Copper Box. It is the London Lions 18, the Plymouth Raiders 27. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the Copper Box, where the Plymouth Raiders have got off to a flying start here against the London Lions. 27 first quarter points to lead by 9. And we were talking during the break about the offensive rebounding that London have done. 8 offensive rebounds for London, but that just shows you how many shots they've missed.
Yeah, on the one end you want to be happy that they've got 8 offensive rebounds, but the concern is they're not converting anywhere near the rate they should.
Here's Sentence driving in under pressure. Tough finish from Elliot Sentence.
Elliot Sentence has been one of those guys that I think has been an unsung hero in this Plymouth Raiders team, averaging 10.5 points a game in all competitions and can score in a number of ways.
Robinson working the screen, kicks it out to Ware for 3. Lions miss again from behind the arc, yet to convert in 6 attempts. Sentence, he'll take the 3, long 2 in fact. Robinson comes down with it. Ware, just a little bump there from Will Neighbour, and that's where that foul at the end of the quarter starts to hurt twice as much there.
It does. And what Plymouth Raiders are doing a really good job of is getting back on defense and getting back in transition defense. As you see, London Lions are pushing the ball. There was a little bit of a bobble there in between Justin, getting the ball out there, but they're doing a really good job of getting bodies back in the paint, which is hindering the London Lions transition offense.
Robinson. Pass deflected. Sentence has it. Kicked out to Ubiara. On his own. To the spin! Oh! Denzel Ubiara! Beautiful!
Fantastic move there. Greatly timed dribble, then spin the other way, and a fantastic finish.
Alright. Back to Ware. Liggins. Finally, London get a 3 to go.
Big shot for DeAndre Liggins, and he's a player that he's going to have periods of this game where he says, okay, guys, get on my back. I'll take us to the promised land.
Ubiara, long 2, wow.
Enzo Ubiara injecting positivity off the bench. Positive start for him.
That's one of those shots, because it's a 2 from that sort of distance. It's a good shot if it goes in. Here's Robinson. Drives into trouble. Oh, that pass almost picked off, but now Liggins is open again, and he strings it for the 2nd time in a row.
DeAndre Liggins, just one of those players. All it takes is one shot, and look, he had time to let that one go, and nothing but net.
Ubiara looking to attack again. London with numbers here. Liggins to Robinson. And that's virtually automatic for Justin Robinson.
Well, good run on the floor, first and foremost, from Justin Robinson, but as you said, Dan, he's not going to miss too many of those in and around that area.
Sentence. Drives into the finger roll. It's going to be an offensive foul. Ocherobia underneath, using his body to hold the defender out of the way. And now for the first time, Jordan Spencer enters the fray, having rejoined the Lions. He was part of the title-winning team a couple of years ago. Last year went to Germany and then Leicester, injured in the summer, and obviously has rehabbed back with the Lions and has joined the roster, and he will straight away take over the role of point guard.
Well, we haven't seen him play yet, Dan, but he's done very well to get in this rotation, so he must be doing something right in the practice court.
There's Liggins again! 3 quick 3-pointers for DeAndre Liggins.
Wow, and that's where you see this NBA caliber shine. Quick 3-pointers for him.
And that's going to be an unsportsmanlike on Hamilton. He had the ball pulled away by Ware, made a grab at him. And, well, you just can't do that anymore.
Credit to this London Lions team. They are hunting them down like packs, and I think it's now at the turn of this game, we're now seeing Plymouth Raiders with that adversity, and let's see how they can respond.
Kevin Ware has his 5th point of the game. Obviously in this 6th man role for the Lions, we were talking about it earlier about him coming off the bench. He has done that in his career in the various stops, both in the pro game and college, but bringing a scorer like that off the bench is a huge benefit for the London Lions and Vince McCauley.
It is. Some good basketball players just cannot be good 6th men. You know, it's just that psychology of not starting and being thrust into a game when it's already in full flow. But Kevin Ware, as you said, Dan, he's someone who's done that his whole career and can do it at a high level.
Here's Spencer off the mark. Bunton has Liggins in front of him. It's tough to get the pass away so long. Dusha takes the 3, and that's going to be a foul on Shane Walker, I think, pushing underneath the basket.
It's a good defensive possession there from the London Lions. Made things very difficult for the Plymouth Raiders to get in their set, and it led to the shot clock winding down. VC Dusha pull up 3.
Lions with quite a big unit out there right now. And that's what they can do. They can trap you in positions like that.
That's what you don't want to be if you're Plymouth Raiders offense, trapped in the corner with 2 London Lion defenders. Hands everywhere. Good defensive possession for the Lions.
Well, the Raiders built up a big cushion in the first quarter, but the Lions have just been clawing it back, and now they're in the lead.
Wow. The Leicester Riders fans will have seen that over the years. Shane Walker, pick and pops, very comfortable from the 3-point line.
Dusha's got in an awkward spot here. He's able to get out of it. Hamilton along the baseline, forcing his way to the basket, gets his own rebound as well. Just would not be denied there, Ashley Hamilton.
Sometimes it's just intent and will, and Ashley Hamilton has that in abundance. First shot doesn't go, but look at that, in between 2 London Line defenders. Finds a way to get his shot back up and get fouled.
From the free throw line. Hamilton, a 74% shooter in his BBL career, makes the 2nd one. And we are level at 34 here as we approach the midpoint of the 2nd quarter. Plymouth led by as many as 14 in the first, and Ware will go to the free throw line for the Lions. There have been a couple of these where they've been challenging people on jump shots, just catching them on the elbow.
Yeah, that one at the end of the quarter where Will Neighbour caught DeAndre Liggins, that's 2 points there as well. And look, if this is a close game, which it's lined up to be, come the 4th end of the game, then you know those little tic-tac fouls can come back to haunt you.
Well, we were talking a little earlier about the ability of the London Lions to put up a lot of points in 4 or 5 minutes. They had 18 points in the first quarter. We're not at the midpoint of the 2nd quarter. If this one goes in, they've got 18 points in this period as well.
Wow, DeAndre Liggins hit 3 3-pointers pretty much back to back, and what that does is it doesn't just put points on the board, but as you can see, it energizes the team on the other end of the floor. Defensively, they stepped it up a gear. They were hands in the passing lane, and they were causing problems for this Plymouth Raiders team.
Dusha no way through. Ali Hodgett shuts the door. Ware looking to attack again. He's been very aggressive getting to the basket today.
Again, it stems from a great, strong defensive stance from the London Lions, and they retaliate the basketball so fast at the other end of the floor.
Well, this was the play by Ali Hodzic. He got 2 hands on that one. And then you can see the other end of the floor. Ware just very aggressive today, getting himself to the basket and to the free throw line, although he's not been awarded free throws for those, although it is team foul situation, so he will get the shots after all. Well, he has got 9 points off the bench. And that was about to be number 10, but swiped off. Dusha under pressure from Spencer. They've got to get it over. Just got it there in time before the 8-second violation.
Wow, that was close.
Yeah. Hamilton for 3. Ooh, doesn't quite get the roll. Well, the referees are going to chat this one over to make sure they've got the same call. Unsportsmanlike foul is the call on Hodzic, I think. I didn't see that.
No, I saw an exchange there of words between Ali Hodzic and Prince Ibeh, but the incident itself.
It's on the rebound of this shot. There he goes. There's a little bit of a shot. Oh, Ibeh misses the first. Well, the one thing from his career that you've noticed is free throw shooting is not his strongest part of his game. Let's see if we can see it again. There's a little of a collision there. Doesn't seem very much. Is it a hand in the face? I don't know.
Like 2 big guys going after the basketball to me.
Nice drive to the basket. And, well, Plymouth righting the ship a little bit here in this second quarter, having seen a lot of points go in at the other end. Spinning baseline, loses the handle. Dusha spins one out to Ubiaro. Ubiaro with the crossover and a great attack to the basket once again.
Denzo Ubiaro, for me, is arguably the most improved basketball player in the BBL. He's had a great start to this season and he's so dangerous in the open floor.
Ware fires up for 3 and he didn't even think about it. As soon as the ball was in his hands, he's like, I'm shooting this.
Kevin Ware has looked great in this second quarter. He's been a big reason why the London Lions have got back in this ball game.
DeAndre Liggins and Kevin Ware running the show here for the Lions. Hamilton to reply with 3 of his own, and he's got 13.
Wow. The Star Watch have come out tonight. The big players making big plays.
Spencer. Caught from behind, and that'll be 2 more free throws. Well, we talked about Ware and Liggins being a little quiet last week against Newcastle. We're not at half times. Liggins has an index rating of 24 with 15 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists and 2 steals, whilst Ware has 12 points and 3 assists. They've come to play today.
They have indeed. It's been a very good start for them in a very challenging game as well. You know, let's not forget this first quarter, it was a very, very difficult period for this London Lions team, which shows to me the mental toughness there to be able to turn that around and, you know, be in this position they're in now. But yeah, Kevin Ware, you know, he really struggled the season opener last week on 0 points, but today he has came to play and he's been a you know, phenomenal force for them offensively.
Well, he certainly has. And I suppose it's the aggression that we've seen from him as well. I mean, we think of him as a shooter, but the way he's attacked the basket today with great purpose and great effect.
Well, shooting wasn't working for his team in the first quarter, so you can add to that and shoot the ball yourself, and if it doesn't go in, you just add into the problem. So he's found a way of penetrating in the danger areas of this very good defensively structured Plymouth Raiders team. So again, that penetration has opened up a lot for himself, but also for his teammates.
Well, they're almost at the end of the third quarter in Worcester, where Manchester lead the Wolves by a point, 61-62 in that game, and they are underway in Leicester. It's all level at 8 after 6 minutes of that ball game. Well, teams making their way back out onto court after that timeout. Last action was the foul that will send Jordan Spencer to the free throw line, looking for his first point on his return to the London Lions. Both of them, and we'll immediately head back to the bench area as Justin Robinson returns.
That pressure again.
Yeah. And they're driving them to the corner every time as well. Dusha down the lane, lost the ball, but did so because of a foul.
See the dogs after a bone there. They're really going after the basketball, and it's not just creating that turnover as well, it's taking time off the clock, so it's taking the Plymouth Raiders longer to get into their sets.
Neighbor catch and shoot. Well, we were talking about Lions defense. We've certainly seen it here in the second quarter. Very aggressive, very difficult to break down, and Kevin Ware at the other end has just been filling it up. He's up to 14. Hamilton playing point guard. He's trapped at the halfway line. Just about gets away with that. Neighbor. Calm head in there from Will Neighbor.
Very composed there. He was the bigger basketball player in that matchup, and he knew it, and he was very, very composed. Good jump shot from him.
Ware's going to take another one. That's short. Porter Bunton out to Hamilton in transition, flushes it down. And the Raiders are back in front.
Crisp Porter Bunton making the right play there, and Ashley Hamilton finishing with a jam.
Robinson gets it back, takes the three. Justin Robinson all string. Well, the Lions couldn't buy a three in the first quarter. They've been knocking them down all over the place here in the second. Shane Walker a little frustrated there as he heads to the bench. Parker back for him, and also Kevin Ware getting a break as Jules Dang Akodo checks in for his first taste of the action.
Huge second quarter performance there from Kevin Ware. Turned the game on its head and created a very good opportunity now for this Lions team going into halftime.
Well, they've got 29 points in this period with still 1:42 to play. Because that's the thing, you look at Plymouth and you say, they scored 19 points in this quarter. It's not bad.
You're right. You're right. I think if the game starts at this high-scoring pace, you have to say it swings in the favour of the London Lions just because of the style of basketball they play.
And the amount of weapons that they have. And, well, Parker was a little sloppy on that one, but he was still able to turn it in. And an offensive foul.
Again, that pressure just frustrating the Plymouth Raiders, and it's got Ashley Hamilton there to commit the offensive foul with a push off there of that left arm.
Well, that's the thing that Liggins does. He's so big and so long for the position compared to everybody else in the BBL who plays that position. Here's Parker for three. Ali Hodgic, oh, had it batted away. It might come back to him, and that's going to be a foul on eBay.
Being fantastic intent there to stay with that play. Farah Ali Hodgic gets the offensive rebound and wasn't quite able to. Oh, it's Prince eBay with the deflection, but stays with it. Look at strong hands. He's about 6'9", but he's got a very, very wide, broad shoulder base, strong player. And he showed it there.
I know Ali Hodgic lived in Leicester for a while. Would you come up against him, scrimmaged against him when you were at the Riders?
Yes, I did. Yeah, so he practiced with us for a period of time back in the 2015 season, I want to say. And yeah, he was. I remember him being a big, strong unit of a man. But now really good in and around the basket. And I think he's developed a little bit more since that time. He's got a bit better touch around the basket now and can look to shoot that 14-foot jump shot when open.
Oh, a little slip there, and the Lions come up with it, and Robinson lays it in, and once again this defensive pressure up court causing all sorts of problems for the Raiders. Hamilton, finding his way to basket, and again, it's just good patience, good footwork, and finding the gap.
Well, Ashley Hamilton, he's a all-star player, and that's what you need from your player. Well, I think when you need a player to provide you with that security and composure, give the ball to him and let him go to work, and he's found a way here to potentially put 2 more points on the board from the free throw line.
Well, you've got to keep the scoreboard ticking against this London Lions team when they're in this sort of mood. 33 points in this quarter, so free throws are really must-makes in this sort of situation, and they've not been that great from the free throw line today. 50%. They'll take that one again because Liggins, was it Dangakoto or Liggins? One of them ran across in front of the shooter when he had the ball. Can't do that. And he makes amends. Well, Plymouth should get one offensive back here. There's 10 seconds or so between the shot and game clock. Robinson fires up off the mark. Good rebound from eBay. And now the shot clock is switched off. Dusha. And right on the buzzer, eBay for 2. And the two teams will go to the locker rooms with just 2 points between them, and
wow, what a battle. I think if this was a boxing match, you'd give round 1 clearly to the Plymouth Raiders and round 2 to the London Lions. Fantastic game at the moment of 2 halves, if you want to call it that. But no, great last play there. Prince Ibeh didn't have much time to do anything else but shoot the basketball and got it to go for a 2-point game.
Well, what you would say was actually Plymouth might be disappointed that they didn't have a bigger lead after that first quarter, but the Lions will be disappointed they haven't got away given the second quarter. As we have a look at the shooting numbers, Lions up to 6 for 16 from behind the arc, having missed their first 6 attempts. And it was really those 3 from Liggins that got them going. Yeah, Liggins,
took the game by the scruff of the neck and changed the fortunes of this London Lions team. But look, let's not, pay attention to this full court pressure, which has been phenomenal. Yeah. It suffocated the Plymouth Raiders offense and committed them to 11 turnovers in one half of basketball.
Well, it's been a great first half. Let's go down courtside to Nat.
Deodre, congratulations. The play-by-play guys were just comparing that to a boxing match, a heavyweight fight. You two were going toe-to-toe in that first half.
Yeah. we could say like both teams not playing defense and we just trading baskets. So on our part, we got to do a great job against stops and not trading baskets. We playing great offense, but we have to play great defense too in order to win the game.
Plymouth started the game with real intensity, didn't they? They blazed into an early start. The Lions shooting just wasn't there early on, and then it all changed up. What changed, do you think?
We had a moment of defensive urgency, so we started playing defense for a good stretch. Then we stopped. So our good defensive stretch caused us to come back and put us in the game.
DeAndre, you've had a brilliant start to your career as a London Lion, the BBL Player of the Month in November. You seem to be feeling right at home and settling in here.
Yeah, I did a great job working on my game this summer with hitting a workout in Sioux Falls, so I credit him. He did a great job with me.
Okay, DeAndre, congratulations on the first half. Still plenty to do, so we'll let you get back into the locker room. What a thrilling first half we have had at the Copper Box. The Lions, struggling to begin with, fought their way back in, but it's just a 2-point ball game. Analysis and reaction is next. What a first half we've had here at the Copper Box. Plymouth blazing into an early start. Coach McCauley didn't like what he was seeing at all. Ashley Hamilton driving things as we expected he would, but the American duo, DeAndre Liggins, Kevin Ware, battling the Lions back into this, and they take a 2-point half-time lead. And there's the story of the first half. A really sluggish start, Drew, from the Lions, but they turned it around in the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. You just said it there. It was Liggins. Liggins hit 3 threes back to back to back, and that kind of generated some energy for the team.
Well, joining us now at halftime, somebody who I'm sure would love to be out there on that corner. It won't be too long. One of Plymouth stars, Andrew Lawrence. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about the injury first of all.
Yeah.
How are you getting on? When do you hope to be back?
Rehab's going along. I've still got a ways to go, but hopefully I'll be back on the court fighting with the guys as soon as possible.
It's been a great start to the season, right, for Plymouth?
Unbelievable so far. We've really picked up the intensity, and hopefully we can get a good one today.
Well, the intensity was the operative word, I think, in that first half. We wondered what the tempo was going to be like, Kieran. We got our answer very early on.
Definitely, and we were saying just how great Plymouth's defence has been thus far. But this has been a real high-scoring game, but they've been trading baskets.
It was interesting, wasn't it? Because the Lions weren't firing at all, Drew, early on, as we just mentioned, but they didn't let Plymouth get too far away from them and just turned it around completely in the second quarter.
Yeah, I think it was their press. Their press kind of sped up Plymouth a little bit. They was out of control. They played a little bit faster than what they wanted to, and that allowed London to get back in the game.
We were chatting to DeAndre Liggins at the half. Kevin Ware, his countryman, had, given the game he had last week, which was disappointed by his high standards, had a sensational first half, didn't he?
They're both great players, and we expect that out of them. This league's brought a ton of really good players this year, and we expect that high quality from them all. But we've got to come back then in the second half.
Yeah, OK, let's have a look then at a few key plays from the first half. And we talked about that intensity, and Chris Porter-Bunton in particular, Kieran, leading by example there.
Yeah, this play right here, it showed how lackadaisical the London defence was. They weren't getting back into their press. Left Chris Porter-Bunton wide open, and I think he got 9 quick points just from the mistakes London were making defensively.
Yeah, and we saw how frustrated Coach McCauley was there. Speaking of leading by example, and the defensive intensity that we heard Coach PJ saying he wanted his team to be defined by, Prince eBay very much stepping up there.
Right, Kieran, you talked about it at the top of the show about the shift in philosophy for the Plymouth Raiders as they start to become a more defensive-minded team, and it starts with Prince eBay. And when you have a guy like that, it becomes infectious. And you see Ashley Hamilton there, not worried about getting embarrassed on Hoops Fix, but he's there chasing blocks as well.
Just elaborate a bit on that, Andrew, what PJ was saying to us at the top of the show about defense defining this team.
Well, I think that's going to be our staple for this year. We're going to be in a lot of games if we're able to play the defense that we're able to play, and hopefully in the second half we can come back and hold them to a few less points than they got in the first.
It was a slow start, as we said, for London in terms of shooting. Shooting not a problem for Ashley Hamilton, though, earlier.
Yeah, and this is for me. I've watched Ashley over the last few years. He's made such an adjustment on his jump shot. He's a lot more controlled. His rhythm is right there, as you can see there, planting his feet in rhythm, letting it go. I think he's made 6 of his last 10, which is phenomenal shooting. It's great to see.
Yeah, he's had a brilliant first half. They're right in it the way he is playing. London are right in it the way DeAndre Liggins is playing. It was disappointing, Drew, let's face it, the way that both of the American imports played against Newcastle last week. Kevin Ware didn't get any points at all, and Liggins going into the game as player of the month didn't step up and live up to that high expectation. Very different story this time.
I mean, you see that a national televised game, Ware and Liggins with 7 total points. Trust me, they thought about that all week, and you can see it in Ware's game as he come out really aggressive tonight.
What do you think changed for London in the second quarter? Because we heard what DeAndre Liggins said. What was your take on it?
I just think there's the mentality just to defensively. You can see everybody's out there talking. They're pressuring. They're just playing hard and respecting the game.
We've talked a lot already, a brief start to the season, about the challenge that Coach McCauley has with so many mouths to feed. It's not an easy thing to do, is it?
Yeah, they have such a deep squad and such a talented squad, so he has to find the right balance of the guys on the floor and off the floor. And I'm sure he'll be able to do that eventually.
Yeah, I guess strength and depth is something we've talked about a lot, Kieran, already, and that's something that we didn't see from London last week. Their bench was noticeably absent, really, against Newcastle. If they're going to win this one, they're going to need a different story.
And they've already done that. Ware's got off to a great start off the bench, bringing a lot more energy. But I think, again, I always talk about it's defining your roles, understanding what position it was expected from you every single game. And I think London are still finding themselves with that.
In terms of strength and depth, given the way that this season has gone, the pre-season has gone, you've got games we were chatting about at the top, such close proximity, is that going to ultimately, do you think, be a telling advantage for a team in terms of the title race?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you have a head start with the league dynamic that we have this year, I think that's always going to be an advantage. And I think, like Kieran said, defining roles early and often is really important in basketball. So I think they'll be ahead of the curve in that way for sure.
Talk us through your decision and what were the deciding factors to joining this organisation in the summer?
I mean, Plymouth look like they're going in the right direction. They've got great ownership now, and they're moving all the positive aspects going forward. I love the city of Plymouth as well. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer when they approached me. And I've had a long-standing relationship with Paul James since I was a child as well. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me with with a really talented squad as well. I jumped at the opportunity.
Are you guys looking at yourselves as title contenders?
I think we're work in progress right now. We have high aspirations for sure, and we've kind of been overlooked, I think, in a lot of aspects by a lot of people. But until we prove it on the court, we're not ones to really go out there and talk about it. We'd rather go and do it.
Well, tonight a win will go a long way to establishing those creds. What adjustments do you think do either side need to make going into the second half?
I think for Plymouth, it's composure. They know that London press is coming. The start of the game, the first 8 minutes, they didn't turn the ball over at all. The last 2 minutes of the first quarter, 3 turnovers as soon as Dusha stepped off the court. So they have to really get composed, ready to break that press, and defense, get back and get those stops.
All right, terrific stuff. Many thanks indeed. It's great to see you. Look forward to seeing you back out on that court soon. What a first half we have had here, and this one is keenly poised and then some. The Lions fighting back and edging into a first half lead, but this one is all to play for. Second half coming next. We've been treated to a brilliant half of basketball here at the Copper Box, and the Lions living up to the hype and rebounding from the disappointment of last week when we saw them for the first time this season live on Sky. Plymouth, well, they've had a terrific start to the season. They know this is a real status game for them. If they can get a win, people will be talking them up as serious contenders in this championship. Second half coming up, so let's get back to Ant and Dan.
Thank you very much. Well, last weekend was only the second time in BBL history that only 3 teams had survived the opening weekend undefeated. It's the lowest number, tied with 16 years ago. All 3 of those undefeated teams are currently behind. We could be not even 2 weeks into the season and everybody got a loss. It's crazy out there right now, Anne.
It is indeed. It's not a perfect world we live in, Dan, so why should it be a perfect BBL record? Incredible start, and a good start from you there.
Well, we're back underway, and we've been joined by Drew Lasker up in the commentary booth as well, so we'll be getting his thoughts as we go through this second half. Lions come up with a blank on the opening offense. There's Dusha around the high screen. Pass just about reached eBay, trying to go to work, and not easy to get past big Chris Tawier in there.
No, Prince eBay will usually have the luxury of being the bigger, stronger aggressor in a basketball game, but it's a big London Lions lineup, and Chris Tawier matching them in every feat there.
Dusha to inbound. almost loses it, smartly throws it off the leg of Parker, and it will be a Raiders ball from the side.
Plymouth Raiders cannot keep picking up that basketball in the corner. The London Lions defense are long and they've been deflecting passes and causing the Raiders all sorts of trouble in the corner.
And again, deflected away. They're just having difficulty getting the ball in at the moment.
They don't get possession of the basketball, the Lions, but what it does psychologically, it makes you think to yourself, oh goodness, not again.
Plus there is only 1.4 on the shot clock. Dusha with the catch and shoot. And a great defensive play there from the London Lions.
Since the second quarter, the London Lions have really stepped up their efforts on the defensive end.
Been very aggressive defensively as Parker gets some points on the board at the offensive end. You can see the numbers by quarter. So sensationally, Dusha up and down for a traveling violation. And Drew, this is what we're talking about, the way they can pressure you 94 feet. Even a guard as experienced as Dusha in this league, struggling under that.
Yeah, you can see it all game that Plymouth is trying to beat the press with the dribble, and they need to start beating it with the pass.
eBay with the steal, just couldn't quite beat the ball to the sideline. So just to update you on those other two scores as I gave you the tease. Worcester leading by 9 with a minute to go against Manchester, and Sheffield up 4, and it was a couple of minutes from halftime down in Leicester.
That would be a huge win by the Wolves, by the way.
Oh, and a huge dunk from Tawia.
Passed it on the needle there, and goodness me, throw down from Chris Tawia.
And the Lions with their biggest lead of the ball game at 6. Trying to go inside again, and there's going to be a hold. And you can see that was a bit, two big men. I'll defer to you, Ro. Two big men battling away there for position. He won the battle.
Yes, and I'll tell you exactly what happened there. Chris Towery's adrenaline is still going from that dunk shot, so his energy was high, and he picked up the foul.
Another turnover. Liggins running forward, and another transition dunk, this time by Parker, and Lions really turning up the heat here, Drew.
And this tempo really suits the London Lions. I don't think Plymouth should try to get in a scoring race with these guys. They got to find a way to slow this game down.
Liggins just a little bit too close on that one, called for the foul.
I mean, this is the type of pace you guys like to play up in Newcastle, right?
Yeah, but for Plymouth, I don't think they can go 2 games back-to-back playing this type of pace. You can see it starting to get into their legs as you see 2 guys hunched over in Hamilton and Will Neighbor.
We've all been there, Drew. We've all been there.
Hamilton looking to go to work, driving down the lane. Takes the contact, he'll shoot a couple.
That's what Ashley Hamilton's done a really good job of doing. He's found a way to get to the free throw line when his team are in these vulnerable periods, or a period where his team have struggled to score the basketball. Ashley Hamilton is a guy who can create for himself, and he's done it again on this occasion.
And we talk about tempo. That's a way to slow down the tempo, is by getting to the free throw line.
Well, Lions, with this aggressive defense, already committed 3 fouls in this quarter. I mean, they've got the bench to be able to cover that, but it does allow a team to keep the scoreboard ticking over. That being said, Plymouth haven't been that great from the line today. Hamilton makes both of those. Williams. Robinson. Back out to Williams for 3. Dirk Williams with the triple, his first points of the game. Oh, no, stolen away by Robinson. There's Porter Bunsen now trying to bring it across midcourt, and again gets trapped. Dusha. eBay going to work. and gets his own rebound and is fouled at the second attempt. And you could hear Vince on the sideline screaming, no foul, no foul. He didn't foul him the first time. Second time, it's a different story.
There's some bodies slapping down there. I'm glad I'm up here with you guys.
Well, Lions with a 9-point lead thanks to scoring 9 of the first 11 points here in the opening 3 minutes of the second half. And eBay gets the free throw to go. But it's not the most elegant form from the free throw line.
No, it is not. But he splits it this time, which is an improvement on the last trip he made.
Liggins driving in, gets it to Williams, kicked out Parker for the triple, and London have come out firing here in the third quarter.
You can see the confidence throughout the team, as in the first quarter they looked really disjointed, but now you see them making extra passes.
Stolen away by Liggins, and he lays it in, and Paul James has to call a timeout here. His team are getting steamrolled in this third quarter. Everything going London's way. They have scored 14 of the first 17 points here in this period.
Wow, the man who's pretty good at steals, DeAndre Liggins, very good at anticipating where the offender is going to go, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I love him on the defensive end, and I said it a couple of weeks ago that Liggins has an opportunity to be the MVP of the league and the defensive player of the league.
Well, we've got a son of Plymouth and an adopted son of Plymouth. What do the Raiders have to do here?
You know, they just have to, like we talked about, just slow that tempo. But I don't know, it's difficult for them because London looks like they have what I like to call that momentum, and that's on the offensive end. They've been able to translate that on the defensive end. You see all 5 of guys on the court that they're communicating with one another, and they're just so active.
For me, defensively, I've been, you have to take a look and think, look, this is a team that's been crowned, yes, early in the season, but a defensive powerhouse. They allow teams only 65 points a game. London Lions have 65 points now, so, that defensive plan has essentially dissected to what they've been able to do previously in all BBL competitions. So, I think they've got to find somehow a way of slowing this London Lions team down, but first and foremost, they have to find a way to deal with that focal pressure that they're receiving from the Lions.
And you talk about plan. Mike Tyson said everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Exactly. Well, they've been punched in the face here in the middle 2 quarters. Have they got a response? Trailing now by 13. Hamilton. Dusha has the ball, and the bench is up for the Lions. They are loving this defense from their team. Dusha finds some room and knocks down 2 much-needed points. There's Williams open, and you cannot lose him like that.
No, I feel like Derek Williams has been very disciplined this game, waiting for the offense to come to him, and he's a back-to-back threes in this quarter.
Dusha's going to try and answer. His 3 is off the mark. Pass deflected. Dusha says thanks a lot to Neighbor for 3, and he hits. They've just got to hang on here.
They're going to need a larger input as well from guys like Will Neighbor, but also let's not forget how devastatingly good Porter Bunton was in the first half.
Here's Liggins from 3, in and out. Yeah. Porter Bunton, 12 early points. He hasn't scored since, although he hasn't shot since. He's a perfect 2 of 2 from all 3 distances. eBay must have traveled with that. The back foot dragging along the floor.
Problem there, Prince eBay caught the ball a little bit too far away from the basket, and when he took that dribble, he wasn't close enough, and he's being guarded by a 6'9" strong defender in Farrell Al-Hodgets, and very difficult to move around down low.
Well, it's finished down at the University of Worcester, where the Wolves have their first win of the season and the Giants their first defeat of the league campaign. 84-76 to Matt Newby's team. Great win for the Wolves.
There goes another undefeated record. Gone.
Well, the other two are also under pressure here. Plymouth and Leicester both behind. Here's Walker for three. And, well, if one of them doesn't get you, the other will. And there's another forced turnover by the Lions. Lobbed up, lobbed back to Liggins. I thought he was throwing the alley-oop to Williams at first, but it's Liggins who jams it in, and London are steamrolling Plymouth here.
Well, the scary thing there wasn't that break. I think Justin Robinson changed his mind. It was pick your poison. And he went with the Liggins in the end, who finished with a slam.
In London, they are all over the place. This is the team we've been looking for all season, not from the offensive standpoint, but defensively, because they're littered with length and athleticism from top to bottom.
Well, we were talking about that at the end of the first quarter. We're saying, here's a team that Vince put together saying, defense, defense, defense. All summer, that's what he's talking about. They gave up 27 points in that first quarter. They've only given up 30 since then.
Exactly.
And when they do turn it on, man, it's going to take a good team not to wilt under that pressure.
Especially when you got about 6 or 7 soldiers sitting there on the bench itching to go.
Yeah. So they can ride these fouls. I mean, the foul count is all against the Lions here, but they've got next man up, doesn't matter. And that's before you count the guys who aren't here.
Yeah, you throw a Josh Ward-Hibbert into the equation here as well. Oh my goodness, him in the full court pressure, he is a problem for any opposition.
Pass deflected. Dusha has it. Dusha stumbling through, is able to finish the lay-in, and he'll go to the line for a bonus.
Wow, he's fallen to the floor, but it didn't matter. Great penetration here and ability to keep his balance while shooting the ball. Falling out of bounds.
Well, they're at the half down in Leicester. Sheffield with a 3-point advantage, 35-32. Certainly not the scoring fireworks we have here at the Copper Box. He's trying to hand it off to Liggins. He does get it eventually. Williams wide open. You just can't give him that space.
No, you cannot, and he's already proved to us in this half that he's a deadly shooter from out there, and all the time in the world there, an easy conversion for him.
3-pointers from him in this quarter. Good follow and finish for Mubiara. Ali Hodgick, mid-range. Walker almost timed that. Well, Jarobia has the space. He was wide open. Ali Hodgic had been knocked out of the way. Dusha under pressure, gets in there but travels. And this is part of their issue with Lawrence not playing, Drew, is the pressure on the ball. They need another guy to share some of that load with Dusha.
Yeah, and credit to Dusha. I think he's done a great job of holding down the fort so far this season. But like you said, they definitely lack another ball handler there in the backcourt.
In the second quarter, you really noticed the difference there when Dusha was off the court and Raiders' ability to be able to handle that pressure.
Ali Hodgic underneath. Had to get it away quickly. Stolen away by Walker. Kickball out of bounds. Well, London really have been all over 9 steals in that, forced 18 turnovers. And sometimes you say, oh, we turned the ball over loads tonight. It's not been we've turned the ball over, it's they forced us into it in this game.
Exactly.
Dusha gets into the free throw line. He was challenged by Parker. Watch out. Dirk Williams out on the break. The two-handed throwdown.
Well, when he's out on the open floor, there is just nothing you can do about that. Pure athleticism, sky high for the dunk.
And something has just clicked with these London Lions as you see every man pressuring the ball, and as Dirk Williams just get a deflection there.
It's contagious, isn't it? It's contagious. You know, you see 1-2 teammates doing it, and everyone else joins the party. And what we're seeing here is just an incredible defensive display since that first quarter, where they conceded 27.
3-second violation called against Ocherobia. And the other thing, I mean, you touched on it. When they had that, was it a minute, 2 minutes into the quarter, they had that end-line ball and it was deflected out of bounds, and the sideline ball and it was deflected out of bounds. And they eventually got a shot away. But as you said, what that did to Lions' mentality defensively is we've got this here. We've got them under pressure, right where we want them.
Yeah. Just being that constant pest. You play your game like that. You know, whether it's a steal or an interception, you know, if you consistently keep pestering the offensive player, psychologically it wears them down.
Yeah. That's an unsportsmanlike there for Ware with the reach around the back. Well, sometimes you say with Americans it's getting used to the new rules, but he's played in Europe for a few years. He would know that when a guy is out on the break like that, if you go like that without a play on the ball, under the modern rule, that's an unsportsmanlike foul.
That's the right call. But just to touch on, you guys talked about London's defensive pressure, but it also helps when you're making shots.
Yeah.
And that started when Liggins hit those 3 threes, and it kind of injected the entire team.
Lubiaro makes both from the line. He's got 10. And there's going to be a foul. I don't know if it's Ocherobia with a moving screen. And he tripped Ware up. Well, for all that London have dominated this quarter, and dominated this quarter they have, their lead is still only 12. Plymouth have just got to somehow try and hang on here and get themselves back into a position to make a run at it down the stretch.
Oh, this is still within reach, and you know, you feel that Plymouth Raiders did put up that resistance against the Newcastle Eagles last week. You know, it looked to me at a point in that game where the Newcastle Eagles want to take control and look to win that ball game, but Plymouth Raiders did find a way. So, you know, can they find a way in this game? It's still, you know, within reach. But defensively, they have to be a lot better. London Lions still having their way.
Well, they followed up a 33-point quarter with a 29 and counting point quarter. Wow. Well, foul called on that one. So over the limit means 2 free throws, and it's almost blessed relief when you get to the free throw line.
You guys talked about the lack of depth from the Plymouth Raiders. It gets tough when every time you catch the ball from 94 feet, there's someone staring you in the face.
I think you said it, they lead the league in fouls, but that's because they can. Lions.
Yeah.
They can be a little more aggressive than a team with a shorter rotation. Here's Parker from behind the arc, and he knocks down a 3, and it seems a long time ago from the first quarter where Lions were struggling from that range. Neighbor. Foul in the lane. It's on a Lions player. I couldn't see who it was. 44 is the number shown to the table. Shane Walker.
Well, London Lions got away with one there. Will Neighbour was wide open, and on any other day he knocks this shot down, but not on that occasion.
Just grabbed him. And an easy one for the referee. From there, we might not have spotted it, but clear as day on the replay. Where has it? He has a quick look down court, not in any hurry. About a 10-second differential between shot and game. Oh, Walker is wide open underneath. Defensive breakdown there from the Raiders. BBL running it down. Fires up the three, short. Spencer's going to heave from inside his own half, and he's not too far away. Well, they scored 33 in the second. They've just scored another 34 points here in the third. The Lions are running riot. They lead 85-68 at the end of the third. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Copper Box, where the London Lions hold an 85-68 point lead. And you gave the stat earlier, the Raiders been giving up 65 points a game so far this season. They've given up 67 in the last 2 quarters.
Wow, that's a frightening stat for, well, for if you're the Plymouth Raiders, but also for the rest of the league, that the London Lions can put points on the board just like that against a defensive, competent team.
Well, the quarter numbers just staggering there in the middle too on that graphic, and they don't look like they're slowing down defensively. To the elbow, back to Walker, moved on. Spencer His three rims out. Sentence spinning, slightly off balance, couldn't quite get that to go. Ware has it ripped away and out of bounds. And Drew, these first or next 2 or 3 minutes, Plymouth's run has to come now. If they're getting back into the game, it has to come now. They've got to get it back down to something like a margin you can overcome in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, I totally agree. Plymouth, they need a big play. They need something to spur this team on. So, like you mentioned, it needs to come quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Well, that doesn't help. It's now up to 19.
Well, the Raiders haven't been able to get stops, but worryingly as well, they haven't been able to get players like Chris Porter-Bunton back in the game, who started electrifyingly for them.
He's not even shot since the first quarter. Never mind scored. He's not even taken an attempt since then. All right. A little low there for Hamilton. Let's do for 3. Well, they can't really keep coming away with nothing from these offensive trips. They have to score almost every time down.
But Ant, you mentioned it early. This team looks completely different when Dusha isn't at the helm.
Yeah, offensively it's a major drop-off, and the Raiders just don't have any identity on offense as well. We're seeing guys trying to make things happen from an individual perspective, but it's not quite flowing and it's not coming off, and they're struggling to put points on the board, and they're not able to stop this London Lions offense.
Nice block by Hamilton. Still have it though, the Lions. Shot clock getting very low. Dangakoda steps underneath, back irons it, and Dusha is able to snap it. Hamilton pretty much on his own. He has Porter-Bunton behind him. Hamilton driving to the basket, and a foul is called. The other thing, Drew, of course, is these teams meet in the Cup quarter-final in not too far a time. It's a couple of days. It's Wednesday, isn't it? So psychologically, for Plymouth, they can't let this go any bigger than it is now.
Yeah, exactly. It's a quick turnaround, and what you don't want to do is go into a game with an opportunity to make it to the semifinals coming off a 20-plus loss.
And that, in some ways, the Raiders got hurt by Lions' slow start to the Cup campaign, because they win their group and they think, oh, we get 3rd place in the, oh, wait, that's the London Lions. How did that happen?
Well, the group of death was nicknamed that for the very reason, because anyone getting out of there or surviving that group stage is, could have won a group stage anywhere else in the league.
Hey, that's life, though. Life is tough like that,
Spencer bouncing it in. And Larry Hodges looking at the referee. Poor from the Raiders, though. Threw it straight to Spencer, who's able to score.
Well, you can't help but feel the Plymouth Raiders look like a wounded animal here. And, the response hasn't been to retaliate. It's been to, okay, let's find a way to get out of this gym so we can get back to the southwest.
Again with the set shot for 3. Dangakoda. Oh, that was tough to guard, that.
It really is. He has been a quiet assassin here. Orlando Parker's 22 points personal for him, and he's done a lot of things right for his team tonight.
Yeah, as you say, it's been kind of understated, his contribution. But he leads his team in scoring through all of that. We kind of talked up wearing Liggins, and rightly so in the first half of what they did, but he just went about his business making shot after shot. That's going to be an offensive foul at the other end of the floor.
Vesti's able to string a couple threes together. Do you go back and try and get him another open look?
Let's see if they do. Here's Hamilton. He looks like he wants to go on his own. He does, driving in. Take the foul.
He definitely had his mind made up as he was dribbling at the top of the key that he was going to shoot that basketball.
He does do a very good job, though, of getting to the free throw line, and he has today as well. I think what's particularly difficult to, when you're a defender guarding Hamilton, if you look, he goes just as strong right as he does left. He's very versatile in that sense, and even when he looks to finish the basketball around the rim too, you have to think to yourself, is he left-handed or is he right-handed? Because he goes both ways with such conviction.
Strong as well, and usually during that last dribble, he always makes sure he engaged that body into the defender. He's a master at that. I'll be interested to see how London finishes this game, because they've been known to have lapses, and the biggest question mark for them all season has been the consistency. So, will they let their foot off the gas a little bit, or will they continue to do what's got them to this point thus far?
Barker to the spin, gets it away. And, well, it's only 14 with 5 minutes to play. It feels like London have got this well under control, but it's only 14. Here's Spencer. Running hard all the way to the basket. Now Plymouth with numbers, 3-on-2. Douche goes cross court to Hamilton, inside to eBay! Almost brings the basket down.
Big dunk from the big fella.
Nice.
Goodness. Kevin Ware, there was not really a whole lot he could do about that, but you feed the big man and he'll get you a dunk shot under the rim.
So Drew, just put yourself in Plymouth's shoes here. It's felt from the second quarter onwards as if London have dominated this game. They've got whatever one, defensively strong, offensively scoring at will, different weapons. But here we are, 5 minutes or so to go. You're only down 12. This is not out of reach by any stretch of the imagination. What do Plymouth have to do here?
Yeah, if I'm PJ right now, I'm saying in the huddle to these guys that, hey, let's string together a couple of stops. We're only 4 possessions out of this game. As bad as it felt all game, we're still in this. So let's string together a couple of defensive stops and let's work the ball offensively.
You talked about the Lions' mentality of, because they felt so dominant, do they ease off a little bit? They can't afford to at 12. If it was 22, then you can ease off a little bit.
I think that's an interesting point of the game, and Drew pointed out. Let's see how London Lions finish this game, because good teams need to finish games out. Talent, as we already know, is not going to get you a championship or a trophy. So, it's important. I think these are the ingredients you see over the years. The Newcastle Eagles, the Leicester Lions, the Leicester Riders, excuse me, and that ability to kill teams off and finish games.
Here's Ware. Back to Dangakoto. He backs out to reset. Works the pick and roll. Dancing through. Tosses it up high. Good finish.
Good response from the Lions there. Plymouth Raiders really needed to implement a defensive stop there to get this run going.
To Bunter. Back to Hamilton for 3, and he knocks it down. 24 now for Ashley Hamilton.
Big shot.
It's been a big game for Ashley Hamilton too. He's found ways to score and keep points ticking over for his team.
5 assists as well as Ware misses. They get in single figures here, the Raiders. Douche around the screen, turns the corner, lobs it up, and that's a big foul from Ali Hodzic. And he will send eBay to the free throw line.
Big foul, but good foul as eBay shoots under 30% from the free throw line. Make them earn it.
Yeah, we said in the first half that the scouting report on him is you're probably better off fouling than letting him dunk on you. But he makes the first. One or two, and it almost came back to him. Spencer slipping, Raiders have it. Hamilton in for the jam, and suddenly it's down to 8.
This game, the script keeps turning down, and right now, Plymouth Raiders have found some energy and belief that they can get this game.
They got a little taste of that momentum.
They certainly have. What have Lions got in response? Spencer to the jump shot, misses. Hamilton with the rebound. Here come the Raiders again. Dusha again working the pick and roll. Kicks it out. Reset beats in the corner for 3. Oh my goodness! They've come all the way back. It's just 5.
What a great find in the corner as well to the hot Beastie, who knocks it down.
Defensive mistake there from Spencer. He was sucked in way too low there off the shooter.
Oh, there's a technical foul. Oh, must have said something. It's going to be a free throw for the Lions.
Let it play.
Well, that's a really poor technical with 2:22 to go.
We talked about this game of margins, you know, and those marginal errors here and there, and in close games, every single point, every single play counts.
Well, that gives them 1 more point, so it's up to 6. There is 2:22 on the clock, and it is a sideline ball to the Lions. Oh, it's almost stolen away. Ware is able to recover. Dangakoda attacks in, pass deflected, and importantly so because Spencer was lining up in the corner.
You can see a switch in approach though from the Plymouth Raiders. The defense, it's turned up a little bit notch, another level, and you know, there's those hands in the passing lanes now. The rotations are a little bit sharper, making things very hard for the London Lions.
2:15 left to play in this one. The Raiders have cut it back down to 6, having been 20 behind. And I suppose the question, Drew, is at what point does Vince go back to the likes of Robinson, the likes of Liggins, the likes of Parker or Williams, who are all on the bench at this moment in time?
Yeah, those guys, they've been set for a while, and you know, that's what championships teams do. They shut the door because even if Plymouth loses this game, they go into Wednesday's Cup match with a little bit of confidence and a little bit of self-belief.
Well, just look at the 5 that went to the bench for the Lions. There's 1 starter. I mean, A, that shows their depth, but B, the lead is gone at that point. At what point do you have to bring in the guys that you entrust to start the game?
It's difficult because, you know, basketball is a game of rhythm as well, so sometimes that rhythm can be lost, and as we see, the momentum right now is with the Plymouth Raiders, and I think the pressure goes on, increases for the London Lions as well, because they were in a position where they should have seen out this game, and now they're they're essentially playing to keep hold of this lead.
Same 5 comes back out. Spencer to inbound, 6 on the shot clock. Just got that pass into Dangakoda, who's under pressure, it's turned over. The Raiders have it, Hamilton on his own out in front. To the spin move, oh, Ashley Hamilton does it again! making the contact. He's at the line for an extra free throw.
That's exactly what you want for your go-to player. You want to give the ball to him, take his time, not be fazed by the occasion, and he wants that responsibility as well. Great move there against a very good defender in Shane Walker.
28 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists for Hamilton. He's got 32 now on the index. And that will go up again.
We got a ball game.
3-point game with 2 minutes to play. Who would have called this at the start of the fourth quarter? Here's Spencer, he slipped. He manages to recover. Williams, big shot for 3! Dark Williams strings it.
Dark Williams has been hot this second half, and the shots don't get much bigger than that. Took his time, and nothing but net from the corner.
Fourth one of the second half for him. Dusha beats it to reply, it's blocked. Spencer has it. Williams doing it at both ends. Williams, the Figaro. Oh, I thought he just put too much on that wear, but it did drop, and suddenly it's blown out to 8. In the blink of an eye, the Lions have given themselves some breathing space.
Again, it all comes from a defensive stop there. They just get down the floor so fast that the tempo that they can insert into this game is another level.
Well, drama here as the Lions are looking to end Plymouth's unbeaten start to the league campaign. There's 10 minutes to play in Leicester, and if Plymouth are beaten here, Leicester might be the only undefeated team in the league. They lead by 4 against Sheffield with a quarter to play at the Morningside Arena. But it just goes to show, Drew, that two weekends in, we may or may not have one team. Let's see what Paul James is saying.
Let's go, come on, let's go. They're in the bonus, keep being aggressive.
1, 2, 3, defense.
Come on, keep attacking,
Wow.
keep attacking.
Going back to that point, Drew, could be no teams unbeaten after 2 weekends. At best, it seems like there'll be one.
From a fan's perspective, like, you gotta love that.
Yeah.
You know, anyone can win the league. The days are gone where it was just up for grabs for Newcastle and the Leicester Riders, and I think it's much better for the overall product of our league.
So you're saying it's much better when Newcastle don't win the league? Is that what you're saying to me? Did I hear you say that?
I mean, I'm wearing my commentary hat right now. As soon as we get off air, it's Newcastle all the way.
Here we go. Big play this for Plymouth. They must score surely with 1:15 to go. Dusha inside to eBay. Going strong. Oh, but he lost the ball. Foul call.
Very interesting decision to go down to Prince eBay as well. And I understand he's big and you can establish him down low, but you know, Ashley Hamilton's a guy that's got you in this position. Go back to the hot hand.
To be fair, he had his man beat there. He just dropped the ball, but it could be a costly turnover. Inside, Tawia gets himself some room and finishes through traffic. And that could well be that now with 40 seconds to go. It's going to take something spectacular for the Raiders. eBay in there. And they're not in foul mode, so they're going to let this one go. But as you said, Drew, good momentum for the Raiders given they play again in a few days' time in the Cup.
Yeah, this game is a great moral victory for the Plymouth Raiders, hanging with one of the heavyweights of the league without one of their best players in Andrew Lawrence. And so if you're Plymouth, you got to be pretty happy about your chances on Wednesday night.
Well, Hamilton cuts it to 6, but that will be the final score as the London Lions will dribble it out. And what a weird game that was. We had Plymouth blasting out of the blocks. You got London scoring 60+ through 2 quarters, and then the Raiders coming right back and threatening to steal it at the death.
Well, there certainly wasn't a script there that the teams were, stuck by. I mean, you had the first quarter there, and I'm sitting there as a spectator thinking, oh, goodness me, this could get out of hand here, this could be a blowout. But then you see a response from the London Lions, and a very gutsy response as well. I mean, I think it was a world against them scenario there, but a great response there. And it was the defense. Who would believe it? It was the defense that got them back in the game. Incredible energy from their full court pressure there, which suffocated the Plymouth Raiders at times, but then a last quarter surge there from the Plymouth Raiders, which again shows us they're a team that to be reckoned with this season.
And Drew, we're talking about defense. The game finished 101-95. I mean, there was some great defense out there at times, but both teams were able to score.
Yeah, just like Coach Fab used to always say, it's about the intent. But as basketball players, we always say great offense always beats great defense. And if London Lions are on their game, no one in the league is holding them to 65 points a game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, a really, really fascinating game here at the Copper Box. But the London Lions have got their first league win of the season, and the Raiders have their first league defeat of the season. Here's the numbers, as you can see. Actually, Raiders doing a better job inside with their 61% from the two-point line. London started slowly from three, got really hot. Raiders winning the rebound as well. Some of that is about the early missed shots, but a tremendous game of basketball, and the London Lions have won this one. So let's go down to Nat.
Thanks very much indeed, Dan. DeAndre, MVP performance. First things first, though, what a game. Plymouth look dead and buried.
Yeah, they came out very strong. I give them credit. They're a very good team, very physical. They got some great bigs, and they got a big man who can shoot the ball. So I give them a lot of credit. But I give us credit for coming out, battling back, and obviously winning the game.
How big was that Dark Williams three with less than 2 minutes to go?
It was great. It was a big shot for us because they had momentum, and I think we was down three. I mean, we was up three at the moment, and Dirk hit that shot, and it kind of broke the game away.
From an individual performance, DeAndre, 35 efficiency rating, 19 points, 11 assists, in less than 30 minutes on the court. That's a good day at the office.
Yeah, my thing is to get my teammates involved and not be concerned about scoring, but obviously I need to score and be aggressive. So I did a great job moving the ball, finding Dirk Williams, finding guys in transition to get them confidence.
We spoke at halftime. One thing I didn't ask you, which I want to put out there, some rumors flying around in the last 24 hours, misunderstanding maybe a social media post you put out. So to reassure the Lions fans out there, you're not going anywhere, are you?
No, I'm here to stay, and I'm potentially be here next year also. So we'll see what that goes, but I love it here. I love playing for the organization. I love my teammates. I love the coaching staff, and I'm happy here.
And you got Plymouth up again, the quarterfinals of the Cup. You go again.
Yeah, our mindset is going to be the same. Play defensively. We know what they can do now, obviously, playing for the first time. So we'll be ready for the next matchup.
DeAndre, congratulations. Brilliant performance. Well done.
All right, thank you.
Kieran, it really was a dynamic performance from him, wasn't it? Because he just drove his team forward.
Honestly, I'm in awe of the way he plays the game. He plays it the right way, dropping off dimes. He picks up full court pressure, great defensive presence. He's just got it all.
Brilliant from DeAndre Liggins. Brilliant really across the board from the Lions. Got to give credit to the Plymouth Raiders as well, who just didn't give up, did they? Didn't give up.
I was very disappointed with them in the third quarter, specifically. They had 0 fouls for the quarter, which was, it showed that they got punched. They didn't fight back. So I was very disappointed. But the fourth quarter, they regrouped. And they were playing the last minute of the game. They actually had a chance to win the game, and that's as a player, that's where you want to be.
I want to get your take on what this team must be thinking right now. We'll get that in a moment because we've got Coach McCauley ready to chat to us now. Vince, congratulations. That was a game that seemed to be in the bag, and Plymouth just wouldn't let it go.
Well, it certainly wasn't in the bag in the first quarter, that's for sure. I don't know what bag it was in. Well, we got it into a Sainsbury's bag later on in the game. And I thought it was, for us, there was a couple of things. It was important that we could win with Justin Robinson and DeAndre Liggins sitting down. It was also important that we could win a game against Plymouth where, their heartbeats, actually Hamilton gets 30. It's really important that we know that we can win when he does that. And we're still learning, and there's a lot of things for us to do. We need all 11 guys. I think we have 5 games in 10 days, so I wasn't trying to stress anybody out.
That is a really interesting thing to say, actually, still learning. I guess it is logical given how many different players you've got to acclimatise and settle in. DeAndre Liggins has been lights out, with the exception of last week, and everybody was quick to jump on his back and quick to jump on Kevin Ware's back as well after the game against Newcastle. Except for you. You were very pragmatic when you were talking to us afterwards, and this is why. The performance from both of them today, exceptional.
Well, hey, player haters are part of the game. They're all out there. When you come up to a performance with a big name, people are on your back, and you should expect it. It should just be water off a duck's back. Of course, I see them every day in practice, and I know what they can do. They just quietly go about their business. They're not bothered by anything. Coach, what is it you want us to do? And we'll do it to the best of our ability. And I think if we continue to get that kind of a performance from each and every one of our guys, we'll be fine.
You've got to be happy with the defensive intensity your team showed tonight as well.
Yeah, certainly in the beginning of the second half, because I was quite disappointed with it in the first quarter. But once we started pressing and running and jumping on the guys, they were lost.
Congratulations, Vince. I just wanted to pick up on the last few minutes of those games. Plymouth had a little run at the end.
They did.
Were you tempted to bring in the likes of Liggins and Robinson?
Not in the least, no. I mean, I told Dirk I would get him some minutes because he sat down a bunch in the first half, I think, with 2 fouls. We saved him to the second half. And I asked him if he was good for one shot. He said, Coach, I'm always good for a shot. So he came in and made that one that broke their back. But no, I wasn't tempted to bring him in at all. No, I'm not like that.
Coach, you go again. Of course, you got Plymouth in the quarterfinals of the Cup. The fixtures coming thick and fast.
Yeah, because before that, we've got to travel to a very, very good Cheshire team with big man Jimbo Lol. So we're all looking forward to that. And then we have to resume hostilities with Coach Paul James and a very, very good Plymouth Raiders.
Congratulations, Coach. Enjoy the victory.
Thank you.
That's more like it from the Lions, huh?
No, definitely. We talked about their identity. Defensively, they really turned it up. And, we saw that 95 points from Plymouth, still too many. But it showed in glimpses. Good 27 minutes, I think, that London Lions really stepped up the intensity and turned defence into offence.
Drew, welcome back. DeAndre Liggins, so much talked about him. He's such an unselfish player as well at the core, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, having a guy that's your best player on your team and probably one of your most unselfish guys on the team as well, that carries throughout the rest of those guys down there.
And yeah, definitely, he sees the floor so well, sees his players, and he has that mindset that he wants his players to be better. But also, the way he turns defense into offense, it's electrifying.
Yeah, his transition play was something you were really calling out, and he really sparked this team, galvanised this team. When I was chatting to him post-game as well, another player that did that, Kevin Ware, no points against Newcastle last time out, Drew, but a completely different performance tonight.
Oh, you can see it from the get-go. I mean, he was aware that he scored 0 points last game on national television, so he came out with a vengeance, and he was aggressive from the beginning, and you can see it made a difference for the London Lions.
Another player under the radar that you were talking about, and the boys are talking about in comms as well, Orlando Parker.
I just love his game. He's so smooth. He has the mid-range jump shot. He can stretch it to 3. He can play a little bit in the post. He's dropping some assists there as well. I think he's one of the the most consistent players over the last 2 games I've watched him against Newcastle, now Plymouth, and I think he can do a lot more.
Elvisi Dusha, I mean, what a performance from him. And the backcourt demonstrably weakened when he wasn't there. And that's the problem we talked about at the top, the lack of the strength and depth. Sometimes going to come back and hit you.
Yeah, definitely. When Dusha's not there on the floor, you can see there's a clear difference in how that team is ran. So I'm pretty sure PJ is there asking Lawrence, hey, how's that hamstring feel?
We've got to give a word or two to Ashley Hamilton as well. Brilliant performance from him.
I just think he's a great player. I'd said it from the start of the season. I believe he's going to be in the top 5 players this season. He's an all-star caliber. He's now stretched the floor. He's knocking down the 3 consistently. He can play with his back to the basket, and he's playing off the dribble as well. So I think he's a triple threat in that position. I think he can score whenever he wants to.
And Drew, a quick line on Plymouth. We've seen him for the first time today on Sky. You've seen him before, of course. What are your early season takeaways of them?
That this team has character. I mean, this game could have clearly got out of hand quick and fast, but they fought back, which is huge for this team, especially knowing that they got to face them a couple days later down the road.
All right, that is just about it from us here in London. Next week, one of the most successful teams in the BBL, the Riders in action, hosting the Flyers. Very much a team on the up. We're out of time here at the Copper Box. My thanks to Drew and Kieran. What a performance from the London Lions, living up to the hype. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. See you next time. Bye for now.